Yeah. We are back. I hope you're as calm as I am. No Colts football over the weekend just allowed me to kind of cool out. But we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get right into it. Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. We got a great show for y'all tonight. Sammy, bring us in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Anvil Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. We're coming to you with everything Colts. We're going to get to the guys real quick. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and just get this to you from our good sponsors at DraftKings. The NFL season is rolling along and the contenders are separating themselves from the pack. The one thing that hasn't changed this season, DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL is the number one place to bet touchdowns. We don't care how they get them. We want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings is the best place to do it. Here's a reason for new customers to do a touchdown dance of their own. If you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SICKSPORTS. That's SICKSPORTS. All one word, no spaces. That's code SICKSPORTS for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, like I said, welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. We're coming to you with everything Colts. Before we get started, let's just go ahead and get to the guys. And I say guys, it's two of us. So I'm not just talking in regards to just, me and Pat, even though we have with us Pat Dorflin or Big P, as you call him.
Yeah, because nobody says the last name right.
Did I say it right?
No.
Oh, God. All right, we'll discuss that afterwards because, we got to correct that. We definitely got to correct that. My bad. I didn't mean to assassinate your name.
It's okay.
All right.
After a couple beers, I assassinated myself.
So, I believe that wholeheartedly. Normally, I would say, oh, you're just trying to make me feel better. But no, I really do believe that. That's fine.
What's going on, Sean, Jeremy, Jess, Kevin, Teresa? How's everybody doing tonight?
And, of course, I am CJ. And then we have with us a special guest this evening. Normally, we see him in the chat, but we know that he is an Anvil faithful. That's what I'm going to call him, okay? I just made that up, by the way. He's an Anvil faithful, okay? You may see him in the chat. You may see him at the tailgate. Listen, if you haven't seen him, then that means that you just ain't been in the right places. So we have with us this evening, and like I said, Clyde won't be here, but we have the esteemed Adam J with us this evening. Adam, welcome.
Adam
Welcome.
J.
On, y'all.
Hey, glad to have you. Okay, this is now. I just want to premise this, everybody out there watching. This is my first time actually going and being like in the same room. In this case, the same studio room with Adam J. So you know what? When I was talking about the people, like you're not in the right places. Okay, not me. Because now I've officially met him. So if you haven't met Adam J or interacted with him, then you know what? That's on you now. All right. So, yes. So
and if you've ever come tailgated with us, you ever hung out at the RV, you need to thank that man over there.
Mm-hmm.
He donated the RV.
I can't ever take I didn't do it for that, man. You caught me off with that.
Yeah. Yeah, see, you're trying to take the humble route, and you can't. He caught you off guard. He caught you off guard.
Yeah, I did it because I have a family I've established with you group of people. Pasta, Becca, Darletta, Daniel, Tyler, Travis, everybody, man. It's a family. I couldn't have given it in better hands. To see it every day or every tailgate, and to bring my kids to it. They can be a part of it, creating another generation of little blue blood Anvilites,
There you go. I like that. I like
Anvilites.
that. Yeah. We're just coining a bunch of new terms this evening. I appreciate that.
I got about half dozen kids, so it's fun.
You say you got 3 dozen kids?
About half dozen.
Half dozen.
Three dozen.
Jeez. Listen,
Hey, that's perfect.
I was about to say, Adam J, you need to relax, buddy. All right. Half dozen, 3 dozen kids. That's you're doing Mother Goose numbers.
Nope, not me.
But hey, listen, so let me ask you, right? Because this is of course our bye week.
No, Eric,
how was
Sorry.
it this weekend? I'm gonna say just being able to just kind of sit back and not have to be on the edge of your seat and your blood pressure high with the Colts game on. How did this weekend feel?
It was relaxing.
I got some shit done around the house.
I wouldn't say around the house. I could get called out by my wife on that one. I didn't get nothing done.
Well, don't say it too loud. Don't say it too loud.
That couch down pretty good when the Colts aren't playing. Man, but I did take in some football, college, but it was chill. It was nice and relaxing. I got to work a little bit on the weekend. I don't normally do, so just it was different pace. But ready to get back to it though, for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Oh man, feel? I you know what? This was a weekend where I actually wasn't stressing out because I stress out when the games are good. I stress out when the games are bad. Colts games just give me stress now, and I accept that. I accept that wholeheartedly. But this weekend, I'm just like, oh yeah, what time do we play? Because I'm also Central Time, so our game started at 12. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, we don't have it. Oh, wait, that's fine. So the thing is, I actually ended up watching the Titans-Jaguars game. And that game was actually hilarious. Because it's Mac Jones versus Will Levis. And it was by far the most comically entertaining game that I've seen in a while. Until I saw the Bengals versus Cowboys last night. And then I realized we are much better off than we think we are. It was
trying to tell everybody. Everybody's getting all pissy about this season for nothing. We can be a whole lot worse.
No, listen, I watched Joe Burrow weekly put on a clinic and his defense just to allow the other team to just go and do what they please. I mean, that guy. If the Bengals were even remotely right now 9-4, Joe Burrow would be an MVP candidate. But they're under 500, so there's no way. Yeah. So it was fun. But you know what? I'm glad that we're out of the bye week because we have a matchup coming up, and there's a lot of people that are talking about how important this particular matchup is.
It is step one to a very, very long road to make the playoffs. We have to beat them, and they still have to lose another game. And I'll let you guys talk, and I'll pull up their schedule, and we'll talk about who they got left. Doggone it, I meant to do that earlier. I apologize.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple things that kind of go into that too, because the thing is the Broncos, the beating the Broncos and the Broncos having to lose is just a small portion of that puzzle, right? Because ultimately it's also going to come down to Houston. Because if Houston doesn't drop a couple of these games, and they have some tough games coming up, but if Houston doesn't drop a couple of these games, then there's going to be nothing scenario-wise that we can do if they end up potentially going 11-6. I mean, they got the tiebreaker because they got the sweep. And I mean, like I said, you're essentially saying that we have to win out. Broncos have to lose 2, including losing 1 to us, and Houston has to lose at least. Well, they would have to lose the next 3. They would literally have to collapse down this last stretch in order for us to even remotely like take the division. But if Houston doesn't, then beating the Broncos and having the Broncos lose the way that they did and us winning out is what it looks like in that case. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of scenarios that could happen that we're just hoping on. Like we're hoping that things go the way there, but ultimately it begins with us.
And hey, Chris, I know you're listening to this show. Mr. Ballard, my daddy. I am sick and tired of these slow ass starts to every season for the last 10 damn years.
Mm-hmm.
You need to change this culture. Make this culture a dominant culture from game one to the last game. I am sick of it. Change it. Now, I said my piece. Broncos schedule.
you made sure you got away from that one as quickly as possible.
Yeah. See, I ain't getting grounded.
Yeah.
Daddy still has the power. You know that, right?
I know. I know. That's your daddy. That's your daddy.
Yeah. So anyways, Denver has us this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the Chargers on Thursday night.
Ooh. So that's a quick turnaround against
Yeah,
a division opponent.
And then after the Chargers, they have the Bengals. And then they have the Chiefs again. So Chiefs, Bengals, and Chargers and us are all potential losses.
They hung up on them Chiefs, though. Chiefs could be resting.
Nah, I don't know if they rest against a division opponent.
Even
I
if
don't know, especially if it's a game that keeps them out of the playoffs, they might just go in and beat them up a little bit. I don't know, but the first game of the season, because they're the same division, I think Chiefs only beat them like 2 or 3. They did go in there and just whoop the shit out of them.
Well, but then again, like I said, it's a division rivalry, so division rivalries are different.
Absolutely.
So
I don't see it happening.
Unless it's the Colts and Jags at Jags.
Be locked up. They're
exactly. Like the number one seed plays a role because the thing is, if Buffalo continues playing the way that they're playing, and the Chiefs end up dropping one, I think the Bills beat the Chiefs. So the thing is, the Chiefs have to stay a game ahead of the Bills. Otherwise, the Bills have the tiebreaker, and that means that all roads go through Buffalo, and they do not want to go into Buffalo to play a division game or play a playoff game at all.
No. Now, what's fun, Chris, about having Adam on tonight is he's actually heading to Denver to go to the game.
Oh, so you
so we're gonna have some inside sources. The old Mile High.
Oh yeah.
And when I say Mile High with Adam J there, it's gonna be pretty high.
Already know.
And it's a legal state. They probably have a dispensary in the stadium.
No, they sure don't. But that would be dope. No puns, all puns intended.
No, but you know what? But so let me ask you this, right? Because this
hold on. I got to bring us back. Sammy, bring that last comment back from Jeremy. I love that profile picture, brother.
That is diabolical.
Oh,
that is a diabolical profile.
If that's
picture.
your wife and she sees that picture, she's whooping your ass, and I'm all for it. But I love it.
No, that's
it's a stretch, Jess. If we can win the division, but yeah, it's possible. But Houston's going to have to fall on their face, like Chris was saying just a minute ago. They'll absolutely have to fall on their face, and we can't. So, and that's kind of pissed me off all year too. Whenever we've won, and Houston is playing somebody that could beat them, they end up winning too. And we could never gain any ground on them all damn year. That's aggravating the living shit out of me.
Nah, well, so let me ask you this, right? Because this has been a question that I've been hearing, right? So the thing is, we're talking about the fact that we can potentially make the playoffs in these scenarios, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the way that this team is right now, the way this team is constructed, how they've been playing, what we believe they're capable of, is this a playoff team that if they do make the playoffs, that we're realistically running the table?
Adam, I'll let you answer this one because I'm going to be long-winded.
No, we're not. It's not the team. It's not the team. We have the athletes. We can make a run with athletes because of how young we are on the outside, on defense, at quarterback, especially with the AR. It would be great to see him get that stepping stone and make a run. Unfortunately, my no points directly from our coaching staff. Our coaching staff is not ready to make a playoff run on any facet, any level. They can barely put a game together. Like, we almost gave up a 68-yard field goal. If there was 10 more seconds left in that game that we just won with the 2-point conversion, Gerard Mayo would have got another 5 yards. That kick is good because our defense is not correctly, is not schemed and prepared properly. Our coach, Shane, I love him to death as a offensive mind. He's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
He's overwhelmed. He's entirely too much devoted to the offensive side of the ball. And what draws me to say that so early in his young coaching career with us is that we just had Frank Reich, who spent every second of the game in the offensive playbook. So the attention draws, like, boom, you catch it. Coming off a coach that just did it, that same habit, it's noticeable quick. And I noticed it already. So no, coaching staff would not get this team into a playoff run. No.
My sentiments exactly. I shouldn't have let you go first because you pretty much took every talking point I had.
Oh, so you're copying him is what you're saying.
Might as well. Fuck it. But yeah, but just to piggyback on what you're saying on coaching, you're 100% right. And if Shane was more in tune to the full game, being that offensive minded guy, he should be in Gus's ear constantly. Hey, look what they got. 3 tight end set. You know what's coming down the pipe. Fix it. You know what I mean? He, with his knowledge of an offensive scheme, he should be able to pick apart a defense. See, everything's kind of ass backwards in today's world.
Yeah.
Because if an offensive-minded guy is coaching defense, he knows what the other offense is putting on the field right here, right now, and vice versa. If a defensive guy is running the offense, he's going to see what the defense is doing a lot better than what an offensive mind does. So with Shane being in the offensive playbook pretty much the whole game like Frank was, and it is upsetting because I hated that about Frank. Absolutely hated it. He should be in Gus's ear. Hey, I know you called for this, but look what they got right here. They're going to run a slant on you, dude. You better bring it in. You see what I mean? And that's the and we talked about this, and Clyde can back me up because you weren't on yet, Chris. But we talked about that head coach, especially when Jeff Saturday become the intern.
Mm-hmm.
What a head coach should be doing. Look at Detroit. Dan Campbell knows both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
He trusts his coordinators, and then he talks to those coordinators all through the game.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell them this or that to do this or that, but hey, you seeing this? You seeing this? Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. All right, I got it. And then he can audible out of whatever scheme he just called.
Yeah.
But this is a thing that is killing us. That's killing this team because Gus does not have it. Gus can call it and come up with a good game, but he's not consistent. And he's not consistent because he doesn't have that head coach making him be consistent.
Yeah. So
he doesn't have that head coach going in the locker room.
Yeah.
Dude, you just gave up 32 points in the first fucking half. Get your shit together or you're not going back. You can walk. That changes everything.
Yeah, but do we? So the thing is, and there's two questions, right, in regards to that. This is for both you and Adam, right? So the thing is, this is because, when Shane came in, one of the things that they talked about was the fact that he had experience with Gus Bradley because they coached on the same staff previously, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, Gus is more so inherited. So it wasn't like Shane was able to kind of, just come in and say, you know what, I got an idea for a guy in mind. But the thing is, because he coached with Gus previously, it was just like, oh, yeah, well, he can go ahead and stay on. So the thing is, do you feel like if being able to be done differently, that Shane would possibly go ahead and maybe go and get somebody that he would maybe choose instead of it just being a layover? Because normally everybody gets canned whenever they're talking about a coaching staff, but you're holding him over from that the same way that when, we hired Josh McDaniels way back when, and then he decided not to come on. Everybody that Josh McDaniels hired on the staff came in, and then Frank Reich was just basically just coaching with who was there.
Yep. Now, everybody will agree QB's most important player on the field, right?
Yes.
Second one's your head coach. If your QB goes into the coach's offense and says, look, this lineman, he's getting me killed each and every game. You got to fix this. They're going to fix it. They're going to listen to the franchise QB. Just like Chris Ballard's going to listen to his head coach. If Shane walks into his office and says, look, he's not getting it done. I've talked to him. I've tried to navigate his way of thinking into his game plan, and he's not budging. But this is who I really want. I guarantee you Chris does it.
I don't.
I do.
I don't believe
I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
And the reason why is because of the fact that I don't doubt in my mind that they're like we saw it coming in last year, right? With Shane Steichen, how it's just like when players didn't perform, they were out. Like we saw what happened with Deion Jackson week 1 of last year, where he had 13 carries for 14 yards and he had 2 fumbles. Like he literally had more fumbles than he did yards per carry. And he was out of that lineup and he was off of the team by like week 3 or 4. So the thing is, we saw that Shane was able to make sure that we're holding people accountable. But with you seeing that Shane is going to hold people accountable, and you knowing that there's certain things with him being an offensive-minded coach that he's going to want to go after, right? Because even, let's just say, for example, the tight end room. The tight end room was full of was question marks when we went out to training camp. And fast forward to now, you have even more question marks now than you did before. Only difference is that it's confirmed.
Okay, this is where I got to stop Twitter. Where is this information coming from? Everybody started screaming, we need a tight end when Drew Ogletree dropped one pass. One pass.
It's been long.
This team, you can bring in Travis Kelce, Brock Bowers, and boy from San Francisco. And they will react the same way that this tight end room does because we don't utilize them like the other teams utilize theirs. There's a big difference. And you want to scream, we need a tight end. I'm screaming, we need to utilize them first.
We've been utilizing them. We saw it. We saw it when
Adam. I wish it wasn't on because I need that stat.
We did
on how many plays a tight end gets each game. It's probably 5.
It's 5 because the thing is, even when we played in Detroit, Kylan Granson was missing them all over the field. He had one in that game, and that one was called back due to penalty. Now, mind you, penalties, we can't do anything about that, and I get that. But the thing is, if you have him playing on the left side, and he's able to go ahead and go up the seam untouched, and he absolutely smokes a wide open catch, that's an issue
for Granson.
Okay, and then when
and Mo's big on missing prime passes too.
And
Now,
the most tenured out of everybody and making the most in that room also.
yeah, but Jelani Woods, Drew Ogletree, and Will Mallory, you are set at tight end.
I don't believe so the thing is, Jelani Woods, I'm not saying that I'm set with Jelani Woods because he's been out more than he's played.
Fact, that is factual. But when he is on the field, he produces.
But he's off the field much more than he's off on it.
Okay. So what do you do?
So that's
what do you do with
so
him?
the thing is, so for me personally, I think the only ones that you end up having that are holdovers from currently, you let Jelani Woods, however he's able to go ahead and come back, he's going to have to come in and compete. Because the thing is, we were saying that he was the heir apparent, and then he's out for another season. So the thing is, Drew Ogletree and Will Mallory are the only two that you hold over. You potentially go and draft, not in the first. You potentially draft second or even third, because with this draft is deep at tight end. But you can actually get yourself somebody who will be able to produce in that second or third round. Now
that scenario, I'm not against.
So,
but I don't think we need a completely new tight end. But before somebody goes that far, you better show me some stats that we actually utilize the tight end position besides a glorified blocker.
They've had multiple opportunities. They've had multiple shots this season. There has been chances for them in multiple scenarios where they're just not getting it.
Yep.
All right.
But the thing is, going back to my original point, the thing is, I didn't bring up the tight end.
Give me the two names that you're talking about, because it's only two that don't take advantage of those opportunities.
Who? Kylan Granson and Mo Ali Cox?
Yes.
Okay, and that's why I said Drew Ogletree and Will Mallory are the only two that should remain in that room at the end of the season. Those are the only two that should remain in that room.
Okay. Well, I'm not getting rid of Jelani because he's on a rookie deal.
But Jelani Woods, and the only reason why I keep on forgetting Jelani Woods is because he hasn't played in 2 years.
Well, you set me up on that one.
Exactly. You're welcome. You didn't see it coming. You did it.
I did it. I just let it go, baby. Because you're not wrong with that statement. You know, when it's the truth, regardless how much it hurts, you have to take it. And you are not wrong with that statement. And I wish you was, though. Because, man, Jelani showed some great glimpses of what he could do.
Yeah.
You know, Drew Ogletree showed us this year he's reliable. Don't take me wrong. That drop, that should have been a touchdown. Could have changed the game. But I guarantee you, the person Drew is, he's kicking himself in the ass still over that. And last game, the New England game, he hogged everything. So to me, that's showing he knows hey, this is not acceptable. It's not fucking happening again. Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he came back the next game and caught everything.
Yeah. Well, then, and I think speaking to the point that,
I don't mean to interrupt again, but Will Mallory, he's still kind of up in the air for me, only because he hasn't had the number of opportunities. But what I have seen, I've really, really liked what I've seen from Will Mallory.
Yeah.
Wish they would give him some more playing time so we could see more.
I've got a serious question. What other teams carry the amount of tight ends that we do?
Not a whole lot of them.
None.
I didn't know if it's a common thing to have 4 or 5 tight ends, because it's extremely difficult. Me, the window installer, it's extremely difficult for a guy to get reps if he's sharing them with 4 other people. Especially to Pat's point, when you're not using the tight end, the way that a team that keeps 4 or 5 tight ends you think would be using them.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for glorified blockers.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because what you're looking at when it comes down to tight ends, right? You're looking at guys who are a combination of being able to get out into space and exploit the I'm going to say exploit the holes in the defense, but also the guys who you know for a fact are going to be able to effectively block and release. The only one that has shown that they can do that semi consistently or get as close to that as possible has been Ogletree. And that's the thing about it, because the thing is, if Kylan Granson was not good in blocking, but he was a great receiver at the tight end position, we wouldn't be having this
A
discussion because
consistent, guaranteed moving the chains catcher like boy that just retired, Jack Doyle.
yes, exactly.
You know what they call him, a reliable Jack.
Well, the thing about Jack Doyle was Jack Doyle is just like, did they really put him out in the receiving game like that? Like they put him out some, but his big thing was the fact that he was a fantastic blocker. Jack Doyle was a fantastic blocker just coming out of there. He was a big 6'7", 6'8" frame that was able to just go and make sure that he was contributing on the line and then go out there if need be. So, I mean, if we're talking about like how this team is supposed to go, once again, just going back to my original point, what I was talking about previously was the fact that I feel as though, and this is just my feeling. You may feel differently, Pat, but if Shane was able to truly just go and say, yes, this guy is who I want, this is who I'm looking for, then I feel like he'd be able to do that. I don't feel like he has that ability with the way that Chris Ballard has said that he runs this team.
He does if he's in the trenches.
Because honestly, because when we come down to it, and Chris Ballard said it earlier this season, he says, this is the way that I do things. And if it gets me fired, then so be it. That is a very, very, very specific, individualized kind of prideful statement that you believe that you have this specific way that you're doing things and this is what you believe in, and anything outside of that is not going to be maybe deemed as relevant to you. I'm not saying that he's a dictator, but what I'm saying is that Shane Steichen doesn't seem like he has the ability to be able to pick and choose the way that you would believe that he would be able to.
Well, then Shane's got to develop some damn testicles and go into his office and say, this dude ain't working out. This is who I want. Because when Frank Wright wanted Potato Head from the Chargers, he got him. When Frank Wright wanted Carson Wentz, he got him.
But
and Ballard took the heat on both of those dudes.
But what?
Or not
Rivers.
Rivers actually did well. I hate Rivers and I call him Potato Head, but he's been the most
successful
of the carousel quarterbacks. Matt Ryan. I think that Matt Ryan, if I remember right, was a combination decision between Reich and Chris.
Yeah.
But you see my point. He let Frank come into his office and say, hey, Carson Wentz is my guy. He's the guy I drafted. He's the guy I've been coaching up. It's his O-line that, really made him suck. But with our O-line, he's a star.
But what's the link between those three that you just named? They're all quarterbacks.
Right.
They allowed getting the quarterbacks, getting Rivers, getting Wentz, getting Ryan. That allowed him to not have to go and pick a quarterback, because remember what he said. He said my clock.
He's not going to overreach.
He said my clock.
He's not going to overreach.
I get a quarterback. That's what he said.
But I only brought that up to show he lets his coaching staff have the opinion. Chris has, since day one, come in here and said, I don't want yes men. I want you to tell me how you feel, who you want, and why. He doesn't want yes men. Oh, hey, Adam J., what do you think about getting Wentz? Oh, yeah, that's a good job, boss. No, he wants Adam J. to really tell him what he thinks. He said that from day one. Now, Is that happening behind doors, closed doors? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We're not back there, so we can only speculate. I'm just going by what I've seen and heard from him personally. And I think you're wrong. I think if Shane wanted a different defensive coordinator, he would absolutely walk into that office and tell Chris, and Chris would say, okay, it's your team. This is who you want. This is who you get. But you taking all the criticism for it. Not a problem, boss.
So
that's the way I see it going. But Shane's, it's up to Shane if he walks in there or not. Maybe he has already. I don't know. Maybe he never will. I don't know.
So knowing that, let's just say, for example, and this is just an example. So if Shane Steichen at the end of the season, he sees that there's a guy that can solidify right guard, rather than going and maybe taking the flyer again on Wolf Fries coming off of injury, and the running cost on said player is 3-year, $27 million. Do you really believe that Chris Ballard, knowing how staunch he is whenever it comes to going and just like picking out a free agency, that he would be like, you know what, you got it?
Knowing how Chris deals with these players and contracts, if he feels the value is there, absolutely he'll sign the dotted line. But if he grades that particular player that you're talking about as a $15 million player, he might go over it a little bit, but he ain't gonna go over it much.
Go ahead.
It's all about the value.
But here, I want to hear from Adam, because Adam is like, I see Adam fidgeting a little bit. Adam, what's going on over there? What's going on over there, Adam? I see you over there. You're just like, ugh.
I'm a disgruntled Colts fan this year, man, with everything that's happened going on with this the way they did Richardson, and I'm along for the ride this year. So, but I don't want to keep investing into it on the offensive line. Like for your example that you just brought up, get the right guard situated. We've already got one of the highest paid lines. And they don't. What for what? We've got the highest paid defense, one of the highest paid defensive lines. We got a lot of money tied up. I don't know. I'm going a different direction with picks, coaching changes, and I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah. but
the answer. Just saying.
But that's what. So the thing is, and like I said, the reason why I used it, like that scenario, for example, is because of the fact that we've seen that it's been more of, I'm going to say, an addition with more subtraction. Because the thing is, ultimately, it's just like the people that are being added are the ones that are being added on the back end. Like, we know that Chris Ballard is probably 50% draft, maybe 2.3% free agency, and then the rest of it is like undrafted free agents and practice squad players. And for me, I came into this year with the thought process that Shane Steichen will just take anybody, right? Because that's what he did last year. And you were hoping that there might be some addition to it, but we saw that definitely was not the case. Now, if for some reason, because I think, especially going into this upcoming offseason, and I don't mean to like jump directly to the offseason, but like I said, it's something to be discussed. But going into the offseason this year, I don't foresee Gus Bradley being back, because there's no way that you're going to be bottom 5, bottom 6 in every defensive stat, and then you're going to say, oh yeah, no, this is fine, you can do a lot better next year, because we've seen that it's gotten worse since last year.
I wish I would have cut it out and clipped it and sent it to Sammy so we could play it. But, James Boyd asked Shane about Gus and the production that he's had this year. And Shane flat out said, well, it was pretty rough in in the beginning of the season, but I think we got a lot of things ironed out. Gus is doing a lot, but at least he did acknowledge that Gus was sucking ass at the beginning of the season.
Still sucking ass.
Yeah.
In my opinion, yeah, he is. He's got to go.
Guys, if Mayo had 10 more seconds, we would have lost that game.
No, absolutely. And that's the reason why that last drive on offense was just masterful, because it was a combination of being able to get the clock down and making sure that we just literally were able to not give him enough time to do what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks, because we know that there's scenarios where we lose these games if they don't have the opportunity. And the thing is, ultimately, it was a combination of us using a lot of that clock, but Mayo just not necessarily just be doing what he needed to do to put his team in the best position to win at the end of a game.
How could he not? His receivers have so much green in front of them.
Well,
because of Gus's bend and break bullshit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I said bend and break, not bend, not break. Yes, that's his damn defense. It's bend and break.
Yes, and
because you keep moving the chains on your defense, they're going to break. We have to have the world's most fit defensive players ever in the NFL, as much as they're on the damn field, because of this damn Gus Bradley.
Yeah.
Has to be. Those guys have to leave every game completely 100% just friggin' wiped out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. But we know
it's sickening. It's sickening because, like Adam said earlier, we've got the talent. Even though, our corners and safeties are young, they're talented. They do well. Are they locked down just yet? No. But they're working there. They're getting there. Our front four is freaking massive.
Yeah, front four, yes. I think the front four is the one place that really doesn't worry me, because I think to an extent I'm generally worried about the linebackers. And I mean,
I'm telling you, you're worried about the linebackers because our front four has been pushed around.
Oh yeah,
and that and they get to that second level and they put blocks on our linebackers a lot, absolutely. A lot more than I thought that would ever happen. At the beginning of the season, I flat out said, "Ain't nobody running on us."
Yeah,
and here they are, people running all over
us, and not only that, but the thing is also, do we have talent? Yes. Do we need to evaluate some of the talent that we have? Yes. Because if I see Taven Bryan in another snap, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. Because Taven Bryan was bad on the Jags. And do you know how bad you have to be bad on the Jags? You have to be pretty damn bad. My
old broke down ass might be able to make that squad.
Matter of fact, here's what we're gonna do. From now on, we should have a rule. We should submit this rule to Chris Ballard or whoever may be making the decisions. I don't want any more D tackles that come up from Florida teams, because we signed Raekwon Davis this year, and what the hell has he done? And mind you,
he created shadows.
That's exactly.
That's about it.
Yes.
He's a monster of a man.
What he's contributed to the defense is, whenever they are going to whatever side they're going to, he's normally the one that's blocking the camera from everybody being able to see what's happening on the other side of the field. He's a certified blocker, and that's only for cameras. We got Joe Flacco and Raekwon Davis in free agency, and needless to say, neither one of those worked out. Like that. I hate it. I absolutely hate it, because it could have been that money could have been allocated to somewhere else. Like, I knew it was bad because they let Raekwon Davis go when they got rid of Christian Wilkins, who played literally everywhere on the defensive line, but was drafted more so as a D tackle. You let your starting D tackle go, and then you let Raekwon Davis go, saying, "Oh man, we lost Christian Wilkins." but we can let Raekwon Davis go. If you can just let him go when you lost your marquee player, that's not a good sign.
They sold us a limb.
Like that's the issue that I have with that, and that's why I'm very frustrated. That's why, Pat, I contest your point with Shane just being able to say, "Hey, I need this player. I need you to go get him," because other than quarterback, Chris Ballard has proven that he's not going to do that.
I got a list of stats right here in front of me, man, and it's like the key stats, like the yards per game, red zone attempt. I mean, it's a good, nice little list of stats, but the highest that we rank on this entire thing is 11th, and that's in quarterback pressures. Everything else is 17 and lower. Like, we are a 7 and lower ranked team in all key stats.
Yes.
That's because we're killing it.
We're killing what?
My nerves.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say you're killing our hopes and dreams. That's, that's the only killing that's going on here.
I told you earlier they took my hope away from me.
Exactly, but that's all the more reason why. I've talked, we've been in the discussions. People saying, "Oh well," trying to say that this is a playoff team, trying to prove it. Otherwise, this isn't a playoff team. If we make the playoffs, cool. That means we're hopefuls, but we aren't a playoff team because this team is not there. Oh, also, Pat, by the way, the stats for this one.
I seen it.
Wait,
let Sammy.
Augustine Ramirez. There you go. That the 30 catches in 56 targets for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns on the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's our tight end unit. And then Dalton Kincaid, 34 catches, 59 targets for 356 yards and 2 TDs.
Buffalo has more targets to one tight end than we do our entire tight end room. So that stat right there alone proves my point. It's not about the entire tight end room. It's about us not utilizing them. Now, I'm totally in agreement with you guys on Granson and Mo Alley.
Their contracts are up this year anyways.
Yeah, yes. Gotta go. They're not getting re-signed. Yeah. For the last 2 seasons, I was surprised Mo made it out of training camp. And I said it on this show before. Mo's not making it out of camp, but he does.
So then let me
look at that stat. Okay. Dalton Kincaid has one tight end at Buffalo has 59 catches. 59 targets, 4 more targets than our entire tight end room. So, yeah, the drops, not good. The TDs, not good. I'm not saying those are good stats. I'm just saying you don't need to completely revamp the tight end room because we don't utilize them like Dalton Kincaid, like San Francisco, like Kansas City, like Baltimore. We don't use these guys properly.
But are we?
If you did.
But is utilized, but what? So what you're talking about? So what you're talking about? You're saying that we don't target them. Are we not targeting them, or are they not being utilized because of what they're putting out on the field, or is it just because we're just choosing not to?
Now that's a question. That's a question for the interviews. Why aren't we utilizing our tight ends like San Francisco, like Baltimore, like Kansas City, and let them tell you, well. We like our guys, but, so-and-so had so many drops last year, and we just, going into this game, we thought it would be more productive to make them second tackles.
I just don't think Anthony's progressing. Anthony's still growing, so he's not getting to that tight end read. Unless it's a hot route or read 2 for him, he's not getting to it, so he's not throwing it. And when he does get to it, it's a wild throw because he's
on the run.
He's on his 3rd read, and he's thinking he's got to get rid of it quick, which he probably does, but it's rushing the throw. So he's not putting the touch on it, or he's putting too much on it, and it's causing a bad throw. Not a drop. A drop is a drop.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a lot of factors that can be why we don't use the tight ends the way.
Okay, but the Dalton Kincaid's stats are not second, third, fourth reads. Those are designed plays for that tight end. We don't do that enough, is what I'm saying. Is all I'm saying.
So, let's ask this, Pat. If that is the case, then why don't we just keep Granson and Mo Ali Cox?
Because you said it yourself. Will Mallory, Drew Ogletree are better blockers.
So if you know for a fact that Granson and Mo Ali Cox are not the answer at tight end, then it wouldn't matter if the utilization was there or not, because you already know that the product that those two are putting out isn't going to be substantial enough to hold them over onto another contract.
Okay, so they're going to get rid of them. But I'm not revamping the entire tight end room.
And I'm not saying to revamp the entire room. I told you, you can keep the three of those guys, and you can go ahead and just draft one, maybe two in this draft coming up, because in this draft coming out, there's actually some really good tight end talent. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, now you're not going to be going and drafting a tight end from DeVry University or University of Phoenix. You're going to actually
don't talk about my alma mater like that.
Hey, I'm my bad. I didn't mean to talk about the Phoenixes or the Phoeni, however you say plural Phoenix. I don't know, but the thing is,
you would have went to a proper school, you'd know how to say it.
Hey, I went to a proper school. You don't go ahead and test my metal, but the thing is, when we're talking about the talent, like if you go after, and mind you, everybody's throwing names around. We've heard of Tyler Warren, we've heard of Fannin Jr., we've heard of Loveland. I mean, now you have like Mason Taylor from LSU. Like, there's different names that are being put out there. So you have guys from these major programs who now you'll be able to go ahead and say, you know what, let's go ahead and just take a shot. Now, if for some reason these guys who are projected to be some of that higher talent, if for some reason they don't pan out, or you say that the utilization isn't there when you have somebody like them, then you can absolutely make it a utilization issue. But if they end up starting to have more of that coming out, more of those targets, more utilization in the game rather than just being blockers, but we see a lot of block and release, we see some delay routes from them, then we know for a fact that it's just like, this is possibly just having to be that we had to go ahead and maybe aim a little bit higher when it came to some of those rooms, potentially the tight end room.
Now this happens at every team at the end of the year. These GMs, the coaches, the scouts, they all sit down and they evaluate each player. Like, yeah, he has a lot of potential. Let's see what, if we can get it out of him next year. This guy completely dropped the ball every fucking time. He's gone. So now we've got an open spot at tight end or slot, whatever it is. But they're going to evaluate every position and every personnel. So without us even saying we need to revamp the tight end room, it's going to be looked at. And I think they will make some changes there. I just don't think they'll completely revamp it.
No, it's, and I don't think,
and I don't think they need to. And that's my point. If you want 4 tight ends, fine. I'm not the GM. Bring 4 tight ends, 5 tight ends. I don't care. But utilize them. Make them get some yards for you.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Start utilizing them. Because if you ask me, nobody looks at us and game plans against our tight end room like they do San Francisco, like they do Kansas City, like they do Baltimore. You see what I'm saying? They utilize those positions where that defensive coordinator has to plan because they're a threat.
Yeah.
They don't plan against our tight ends. So this last 4-game stretch, use the shit out of them and surprise the hell out of everybody. Because nobody's looking for our tight ends to get the ball.
Mm. What were you saying, Adam?
I'd almost argued that outside of AR, they're not losing sleep over any of our guys getting the ball right now. Outside of AR, it's been JT's been kind of a disappointment the last couple of weeks. Like, it's the run game's kind of died off a little bit. been weird, man. It's been weird.
But you know what? I think that also boils down to the game is different when Josh Downs is in the game. Because to me, and I've said this before, even though, Michael Pittman, whether he's playing through injury, whatever may be happening, he's not where he's supposed to be. But the thing is, Josh Downs right now is I'm going to say he's probably the best overall receiver that we have. And he's the guy who's been taking a lot of that attention when he's in the game. Like, the thing is, when he's not in the game, we don't have somebody who's able to work their way through a defense, or I'm going to say make guys have to adjust the way that Josh Downs does. Because Josh Downs, to me, is able to run every single route on the route tree effectively, as opposed to where you see Alec Pierce now is more of a home run threat. A.D. Mitchell is more of a home run threat. And then whenever he gets to the point where he can consistently, get the ball in his hands, then cool. And Michael Pittman Jr. he's been more of like a get in where you fit in, but not necessarily much from him. But now it's just like when you add Josh Downs in, you have to account for him. Otherwise, he's not just going to beat you in the routes, but he's also going to beat you after he gets the ball, because he can absolutely get the yak. Like, he can 100% get the yak. But Josh Downs opens up this offense more so than anything else. And I think it's just like that's what we've seen time and time again whenever he's been in the game. And that's why, like, especially when it comes to how this offense is going to operate, when he's in, or if he's in for the next, 4 weeks, we're going to see an offense be different. And I challenge you, if for some reason, let's just say he doesn't play this game upcoming, look at the next couple of games when he's in and see just how much more fluid that offense is when he's actually in the game, because it's almost night and day.
What happened to that Anthony Gold?
He got hurt mid-season.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I saw.
I can't remember what was it, a knee or an ankle?
I thought Patriots game get a couple snaps.
Yeah, well, I want to say it's a knee, but he came in when Josh Downs was out originally, like early in the season. And really, Anthony Gold is more so he was brought in. He was brought in to be like the return guy, because that's pretty much what he was in college. Yeah. Now, I believe that there's potential for him to transition into maybe being a receiver. But like I said, he's primarily going to be that return guy just because of how electric he was returning in college. Meanwhile, Pat is catching hell in the comments. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we know by who too.
Exactly. We know. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. But so other than that, I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna actually head out of here.
We didn't do sick picks yet, did we?
We don't do that till Thursday.
The sick picks? I thought we did Tuesday and Thursday. Well, let me do mine because I can't be here.
Oh, you can't be here Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, I got surgery on Thursday, and it's going to put me down for quite some time. So if you're praying, folks, I sure would appreciate them prayers.
Absolutely, we definitely will be praying for you.
Still got to take care of my girls.
So with that being said, what is going to be your sick pick?
My sick pick for this week is an anytime Kenny Moore interception.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And Adam, what about you? Because we'll take one from you as well. Doesn't have to be defense. Could be offense or defense.
I think time to get it off of his back. A.D. Mitchell needs to get his score.
Okay. I like that.
A.D. Mitchell his score.
I like that. I'll do mine. So we got Kenny Moore interception, and then we have A.D. Mitchell anytime TD.
I really like that one.
That was
AD, since that Gator arm game, AD is really coming around. I'm really liking that.
He's trying to. I ain't going. He's trying to come around.
I didn't say he's not. I didn't say he's there. I said he's trying.
Yeah,
he's doing a lot better. And mark my words, just watch his separation he gets every play. This kid is good. We just got to get him catching the damn ball because he makes that separation.
And
Friggin'
all right,
insane.
so with that being said, we are going to get up out of here. Make sure that you book those.
Night, Clyde.
Adam, where can the people find you on social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be?
Man, it's really easy. They can't. I'm not on that.
I knew that was coming.
Good. Okay. Well, then you know what? You'll see him in the comment section here. Adam J. You'll see him. So make sure that you tune in on Tuesdays and Thursdays to interact with Adam J. And this way you can find out all that he has going on, or if he has some extra RVs, or maybe he has some brisket hanging around. So I don't know, but he seems like a jack of all trades. So appreciate you, Adam. You can find me at CJ Colts fan, and you can find Pat at the most diabolical Twitter handle of all time.
Thanks, Clyde.
So with that being
Big P Colts, baby.
With that being said, we will see you on Thursday. Sammy, take us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Anvil Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.